Yo, what's going on, guys? Take two here, back at it with another banger video. And in today's video, I don't know if you saw my video earlier this week where I went through the best freshmen of every class. I'm going to be going through every double XL class from 2007 all the way to 2025 because I'm not spoiling the worst to best ranking for 2026. And I'm going to pick out the worst of every class. It's a pretty easy video. Originally this was going to be likes exclusive, but I decided that it was an idea that was going to fit the time constraint that I have better than most of the other ones I was going to do today. So we will see those ideas in future, but right now I'm choosing the worst freshman of every class. This isn't by who's the least popular or who had the least success afterwards. This is just my general opinion. So yours might differ, but let's get into it. And we're gonna start with 2007, where I'm gonna cop out and I'm not gonna pick anybody because I don't know. If you haven't seen the best list, I was kind of grasping at straws for this one because I genuinely just I'm not really familiar with any of these rappers. I'm not going to be listing the classes in this video because I already did that in the best video, and doing that twice in 1 week I think would drive me insane. So 2007, I'm not choosing a worst, but that's not because it's the best class, it's because I don't know them. But 2009, I've got a couple ideas already. I'm not going to spoil who I chose as the best ones, but you might be able to deduce who I choose as the best ones. But two names immediately jump out to me, and it's not the ones you see highlighted. I have Mr. Flat Earth versus Mr. College. They're gonna duke it out, and ultimately, Mr. College is gonna win. Sorry, Bob, but you're not winning the class for the worst. Although is Asher Roth really winning? Also, Asher Roth loves college. Asher Roth loves college. Did the man who invented Asher Roth go to college? 2010. This might be another cop out, to be honest with you. Because there's like three people on this class I don't know, and then I like everyone else that's on it. I guess I'll go with Pill, because I haven't really listened to Fashawn or Donis, and I have listened to Pill, and I probably like him less than like J. Cole, so. We move on to 2011. Now this one's an interesting one. There's one name that kind of immediately jumps out to me, because I don't think this one's like super weak or anything. I think this is actually quite a strong class, especially when you kind of look at this third row of Mac Miller, YG, Lil B, and Kendrick, along with Big Crit. Like, it is a good list for the most part, except for one glaringly obvious winner. Um, the king of cringe, the king of corny, the king of worst of 2011. We're going with Yellow Wolf. It's just like I know what I look like, but it's just white people music. Speaking of white people music, we'll move on to 2012, where we've got Macklemore, Machine Gun Kelly, Hopsin, and Iggy Azalea. I'm kidding. Now, a lot of people would lump Kid Ink with this slot. I will give Kid Ink that he's got good songs. Like, have these guys? I guess I will also give Hopsin that, like, he's not MGK, and he's not I'm a runaway slave, master. And I'll give Macklemore that he's pro-Palestine. So really that numbers it down to MGK versus Iggy Azalea, which... Ugh. Ugh. I think that's two people in this class who've got songs with Charlie XCX. And one of them's Danny Brown and one of them's Iggy Azalea. I want to see them fight. I want to see them on a song, actually. ultimately, the Charlie XCX tracks a guilty pleasure. I quite like the Rita Ora track as well as Little Sally Walker walking down the street. I quite like that song. Whereas MGK, I don't think I could name a song I like, so I guess I'll go with him. Um, 2013. This is another strong class. See, immediately a lot of people would say Trinidad James, but I stood up for him in the best list. I didn't choose him, but I stood up for him. I'm just gonna be a misogynist and choose Angel Hayes. I'm sorry. She's probably the one I'm least familiar with here, but yeah, I'm sorry. 2014, we move on, and there's some questionable artists here. Um, Namely, I think the weakest ones are Troy Ave, Vic Mensa, and August Alsina. August Alsina, I didn't even know this guy made music. Like, I know he sang his freestyle, and I know he was like with Jada Smith or something, I think. But I don't care, so I guess really I don't really know August Alsina super well, and I'm not like too tapped into Troy Ave, so I guess I'll just go Vic Mensa because he's the worst from the artists that I've actually extensively heard on here. 2015, for how shovelware and questionable this class is, it's hard to choose a weakest link because I think that this entire list across the board is mid. I guess I'll go Kid Kid. I guess. Now, 2016 is an interesting one because there's one man who I think 95% of people would choose here, and then there's Kodak Black. Um, which every hip hop outlet that I like loves Kodak Black, and I do not understand it at all. For one, I know like I know talking about stuff outside of the music's cringe, but horrible guy. Um, but no, he's someone whose best early songs were just carried by the beats, and now his beats aren't even good. So I'm not really feeling it. But at the same time, I don't think he's put out any like a single album as bad as either Lil Dicky's two, so I'm going with Lil Dicky. After my hateful tirade against Kodak, I still think he's better than Lil Dicky. Probably a better person too. I don't know. I don't know what Lil Dicky's done actually. I'm sorry. 2017. Nah, nah. It's another list where there's a few ways to go, but realistically, there's not anyone who jumps out as terrible to me besides XXXTentacion, so I'll go with him. But a dishonorable mention to Cap G, because Cap G's ass as well. 2018, like, huh? For 9 picks, they really got like some of the worst ones in here. You know, obviously Lil Pump and Smoke Perp, like, they speak for themselves. You know, YBN Amir. A lot of people hate on Blockboy JB. I didn't defend him the way I defended Trinidad James, but he'll be the guy I defend in this video. I quite like a few Blockboy JB songs. And honestly, I quite like a few YBN Amir songs. And honestly, I quite like a few Smoke Perp songs. And honestly, I quite like a few Lil Pump songs. That's why I'm going with Wi-Fi's Funeral. You thought I was going to go with one of the names I said. Wi-Fi's Funeral's ass. Like, actually, just genuinely ass. 2019. See, a few years ago, I think Comethazine would have been in contention, but I think what he's putting out now is so cool. Um, so really, that leaves YK Osiris, Blueface, and a guy who I thought at the time at least, before my taste changed and before he got way worse, a guy who I thought was honestly maybe the biggest star of the class at the time, and that's DaBaby. DaBaby, like, people talk about the fall off being so hard. I've like actually gone back through the albums. Outside of nostalgia, there's no reason to return to his early stuff either. But at the same time, he's no YK Osiris, and at the same time, he's no Blueface. I think realistically, it's between the two of them. And Blueface honestly has some bangers, some really, maybe like two bangers. Like, that's the thing. As bad as DaBaby is, I do think that he is still like a rung above these two. And like YK Osiris, like, we want to talk about horrible people. YK Osiris is one of them. Okay, 2020. Holy shit, I'm like firing through this video. Uh-oh. Again, this is one where it's narrowed down to a couple guys. And I think realistically, this one's between Jack Harlow and 5 Foreign, I think. I know Cowboy's like a couple hit wonder, but I like those songs. And there's actually some other Cowboy stuff I like. But Polo G, like, I'll run through them. Polo G, people hate on Polo G all the time. He's someone who I actually do think fell off, though, because the early albums are good. And honestly, some of the recent stuff, like, I imagine if he hadn't put out the exact same stuff a couple years ago, we'd like that too. Chica, again, it's a very limited catalogue that I've not heard a lot of, but I liked what I heard of it. I actually thought she had a lot of potential before she like disappeared off the face of the earth. Annalie Choppa is a meme, and I can't really take him seriously, and it's going to happen tomorrow, and all this stuff, but like, he does have good songs. You know, I love his Too Rare collab. That song's insane. Like, you know, I right when I said you was wrong, man. You lying. Watch your tone. Like, that's a good song. I was like to say Babyface, right? I was looking at the wrong list. Lil Keed, Rest in Peace was good. Lil TJ's was good. I don't quite know if he is now, because I haven't really checked into him for a minute, but Cowboy I've already spoke on. Rod Wave, I think, is another meme, but like, he's a meme and doesn't deserve to be one. Like, as much as his solo music's kind of whatever, there is some genuinely great songs that feature this guy. Baby Keem, great solo catalog, and one of the better names here. 24K Golden, again, similar thing to Cowboy. He's only got a few hits, but I like those songs. And Lato, I think most of the hate for Lato is just misogyny. I think she's pretty decent. So yeah, Jack Harlow versus 504. And sorry for dragging this class out, but this video has to be more than a minute long for it to not be a short. Fuck. I'm gonna... Do I have to be racist here? I think I'm going Jack Harlow over 504. I think. So I'm gonna have to be 504 last. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There is some guilty pleasure Jack Harlow songs for me though. I actually quite like the Jackman album, and by quite like I mean it's like a light 5, light to decent 5. But 504 is buns, to be honest. So, oh well. 2021. Now, is Ruby Rose so obvious that it's like a disqualification? I don't know, because like, we're gonna come to a few later where they're not even musicians, really. Hell, in this class, we've got DDG, who's another one of these. And like that's the thing. I feel like even if we disqualify Ruby Rose, the worst is DDG. Which do we disqualify him too? And then to a certain extent, you're picking fucking the third worst guy, which would be Ian Dior. But nah, I reckon Ruby Rose DDG joint ass. 2022. Huh. This one's interesting. Now, I'm gonna apologize in my last video for saying who Cali Ken the Man and Saucy Santana. I forgot a lot in my last video because this class I listened to albums by all these guys. And unfortunately my least favorite is probably gonna be Doechii, actually. It's just I struggle to call her the worst here. That's why I'm saying least favorite. It's not for me. You know, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to get on no Aiden Ross shit or anything. Like, I think people who hate Doechii are way worse than Doechii, but like, everything I've heard by her is just kind of in a realm that I'm not quite there, you know? Um, you know, her sound like got on one train at the station and I walked out of the station and got on my bus, you know? Um I don't know. What am I saying? I'm actually just dragging this video. I'm sorry guys. 2023. Ugh, there's a few stinkers in here. I do think I go Sleazy World Go though. Although dishonorable mentions to Lola Brooke, to Real Boston Richie, to La Tyler, to Central C. Like, 2024. I'm going to disqualify Maya the Dawn because I don't know her music. I'll be entirely real with you. Which really puts it for me between Huncho, Skilla Baby. I think just those two. And realistically, I'm going Huncho. Like, at least with Skilla Baby, I don't like his music, but he kind of stays in his own lane. Huncho has been on so many songs by artists I like and ruined them. So, yeah. 2025. See, this one I am going to do a disqualification. I'm going to be disqualifying Gallo, and I'm going to say that Ian's the worst in 2025. Actually, is Ian worse than ChatGPT? But I reckon if I get to disqualify Gallo, I get to disqualify Baby Chief Do It as well. Because Baby Chief Do It is like a cyborg or whatever, but like Ian, actually, I don't know. I was trying to like fight Ian's case to my friends the other day, which I don't know why I was doing. I like 2 songs and a freestyle by this guy. But I don't think he's as racist as like Lil Mabu. Like, honestly, like, you put him next to some of those names on that 2012 class, and I've got Ian over Macklemore, I've got Ian over MGK, I've got Ian over Iggy Azalea, I've got Ian over Hobson. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Hobson. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna disqualify Baby Chief, Do It, and Gallo, and say that the worst is Ian. 2026. Watch the rankings video to find out. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.